throw these four rooms, bright and iron and withered fumes, far below these sinful means.
Okay, guys, Dave Darin here on the Dave Darin Show. Welcome to the show. Hopefully, you guys are tuning in as we're speaking here. So, I've got a cool guest on today. So, we're going to talk to this guy, and I'm going to introduce him right now. Can I use your first name, last name, both? We're promoting a book here, so if you want to use both names, you want to promote the book, right? You got to get your name out. And I got to be like the guy in Dancing with the Stars who stands up. What's his name? Bruno or something? He stands up and he says, "It's a good performance. A1 performance. I like what you do. So I like what you do. Give your name of the book out and your name of you. Who are you?"
Donald Haddix.
Okay, Donald Haddix. Okay,
Donald.
Yeah, Donald. Now you're the Donald, right? You're the Donald. The Donald. So now, Donald, I had you on my show a long time ago, and I was actually really focused on doing a good show. Now I'm focused on being a guy that's trying to do a better show than I did before. I got to be like Bruno again, right? Doing a better show than before. But let me ask you a question here. So, I interviewed you before. You were with a record company, Chernobyl or something like that, right?
Yeah, Chernobyl Records. Yeah, we pretty much put it on hold, since everything's been going like it has. So that's pretty much on hold.
You're going to bring it back? You're going to bring it out of the woodworks and bring it
sure.
back?
Yeah, let's go make a bunch of money doing this book, and then sure. I would love to bring it back.
How was the record business back then? Like, did you make a boatload of money doing it, or was it starting?
No, it was more promotional. They don't really have record companies anymore.
Yeah, no kidding.
These promote bands, Yeah. Or what is it? Amazon and all of them have pretty much taken over all that.
Right. Let me make sure everyone can see me. You guys, if you can't see me, then chat here and tell me. I got my buddy Rob Shoemate is listening in. Rob is a good buddy of mine from Delaware. Him and I think everyone in Delaware looks the same, and there's a reason for it. They all look like him or me. All the babies look like him or me. We've been with every woman in Delaware, especially in Rehoboth Beach. Rob is from Rehoboth Beach like I was. Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. Don't blame me for President Biden, by the way, even though he's from Delaware. But let's get back to you. So the record company, you're going to recreate it again. Maybe not as much records now. For more promotional stuff, you think it's going to be more promotional than records? Because records are dead. Although,
I don't know, man.
Vinyl came back. Vinyl came back, right? Vinyl is back. Right?
Well, it depends on how much money's behind it.
That's true.
You pretty much got to look at it in the recording business and in the music business, period. It's basically a money pit. So if you're rich, it's a place to put money and have fun,
Yep. By the way, I know vinyl's back because my wife has a vinyl dildo, so I know vinyl is back.
I got a 20-year-old daughter, and she's just now for Christmas. Her boyfriend's getting her a really nice record player set. She's got most of her stuff is on vinyl.
I thought you were going to say he's getting her a dildo for Christmas, and I was going to say single end or double end. Single end or double end.
I mean, she's a big girl. She does what she wants.
And she doesn't need that. She's with a guy who probably is giving her something bigger than a dildo, right?
Yeah, we'll keep it cute. Let's keep it clean on the kid, though.
Right. That's right. We will.
Let's go into that conversation about
keep it clean on the kid. Okay, so rule number one: keep it clean on the kid. Okay, but we don't have to keep it clean with you though. So, but let me follow up. So now you spent some time in jail recently, right?
Yeah.
Now, why did you go to jail? What happened? Can you tell us why you went to jail?
Do we have time to?
Yeah, we got this show because I'm doing a show like Bruno from Dancing with the Stars. We've got all the time in the world. What do you got to tell us about jail?
That's pretty much the motto when you're sitting in prison.
What's that?
I said that's pretty much the motto when you're sitting in prison. You get all the time in the world.
Yeah, no kidding. What were you in there for? How come you got in there, and how long were you in there for?
Originally it was for money laundering, conspiracy, all kinds of money crime stuff.
Wow.
And then I had a legit company because I ran the electric business here in town for 20 years.
Didn't know that. I did not know.
Yeah, I had a successful electric business, and we operated out of 5 states. That's where I got my money to support the Chernobyl records.
Right.
And then when the COVID hit, it was like I had an accountant guy, and he talked to me, and he talked me into doing this. And then then one day you get the loans coming in and stuff, and then the next day you got the FBI at your door.
Oh, really? So wow. So
Mm-hmm.
by association with the other person, you got kind of mixed into it, not knowingly and not willingly. Is that? Do you think is that the fair thing to say?
I don't know. If it was that easy, I wouldn't have went to prison.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Wow. So how long were you in there for?
About 16 months.
16 months. Okay. So now, by the way, your last name is Haddix. That's you didn't have Dick in prison, right? It's just a coincidence of name.
I wait for that.
You were waiting for it. No one else has said that. Come on now. No one is as creative as Dave Darin is to come up with that joke. Come on now.
Oh no, I'll leave. Yeah, you got to leave that up to the Tito's.
Right. So now, okay, so now you're out of prison. You told me that you got an ankle bracelet on now, still.
Yes.
Why do you have an ankle bracelet on? You're on parole, or what's the scoop with that?
To make sure I don't leave the state.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, now, come on now. If you were a chick, we'd want to see the ankle bracelet. You're a dude, we don't really want to see the ankle bracelet. But you showed
jewelry,
it to us.
brother.
When does that come up? How long do you have to keep that shit on?
Right now, for the next 6 months.
6 months, and then it comes off.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well that's cool. So they monitor you so you don't leave the state. Now, obviously, you can leave where you're staying at, right, and walk around the neighborhood and stuff. You
get to you get to leave. You get to go to work. You get to do all the things that you need to do.
And then after work, you got to come back.
As part of the sentence, you do the time, and then you got to come out and do the rehabilitation.
Now one thing I've said about people that are serving time in jail. You served your time, you come out, you still got a record, but you served the time. So when you serve the time, if that's not enough, then you should serve more time. But when you come out, you should have a clean record, right? That's my opinion. You have served the time. Again, like Bruno, you have served the time. If it's not enough time and they want to hold you still with a record, then they should make you give more time so that when you come out, you don't have a record. Because now for life, you've got the record, right?
Right.
That is hard. That is really hard. I never understood that about our system.
Hold on. Let's talk about this for a second.
Okay.
So anyways, FBI at the door, prison company, drop the charges. Then it comes back, and I'm in Michigan, and because I moved to Michigan because my company was pretty much destroyed and all that. Wow. And I'm going down the interstate, going to IKEA. I have a 6-year-old daughter up there, and we're going to IKEA, and next thing I know, there's like one of the state troopers or sheriff's department. He's like pacing beside me. And as he's pacing, I'm like, oh shit, something's up, because never does a cop sit there right beside you like for a mile.
Right, exactly.
And then I'm like, fuck, So anyway, so he goes from pacing me, and then zoom, he's gone.
He's gone. Wow. So you thought?
Yeah, he takes off.
Breath of relief at that point.
Look at my plates, I think. Yeah, he slowed back to look at the plates, and then he took off. And then all of a sudden, I get up there to take the turn I needed off the interstate to another. And there's like 3 of the cops, the sheriff and 2 state troopers.
Ooh. Wow.
I'm like, oh, shit.
Roadblock or what have they?
No, they're just like on the side of the interstate, so I know what's up. This shit's about to get weird, because you could feel it.
Yeah.
And so, anyways, going further down the interstate, next thing you know, bam, 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 they're all like circled on it,
Yeah.
Because what happened is they re-indicted my case, and when they did, I wasn't in Arizona, so they put a federal warrant attached to my license plates, which were still Arizona.
Holy shit!
And,
wow.
Yeah, no shit, right? And
yeah,
so,
no shit.
Then that caused like a big scene, and then it was a mess.
Yeah, I bet. Now at least one of the
from there it was to Detroit, and then kind of went around the U.S. there on Con Air to try to get back to Arizona to extradite me, and they move you from place to place to like get people together to go. And so ended up back in Arizona, and then found out that it was going to be a plea agreement. It was either take 5 years and guess what the charge was.
What?
Yes.
I
signing a governmental document falsely.
Oh.
So you better be, all you people out there, you better be careful with what you sign.
Yeah, good point. Absolutely. I'm always careful what I sign, and You're right, absolutely. So,
You would never think that you see that little disclaimer at the bottom of the page all the time. It's up to 5 years imprisonment, da da da.
oh,
Well, that's true. It's true. It just depends on how far they want to go with it.
yeah, good point. Good advice to the people listening to the
So
show.
I had picked plea agreement and took plea agreement, took the time, you know.
Yeah.
Versus going for 5 years. I didn't want to go to jail or prison for 5 years. I was like, fuck that shit.
Good. Did you get a good
So
lawyer?
now you talk for a minute, and then I'll continue the story. But let's
Okay.
keep doing that for a minute.
Okay, so now, did you have a good lawyer to try to help you out? And how did that go? Like, you got to get a lawyer at this point, right? So you got a lawyer.
Right.
Did he help you out to
Yep,
reduce the
yep.
time, or what? Did he help you out?
Yeah, I had a real good lawyer. I'm not going to name any names, you know,
know.
because it's irrelevant. But I had a real good lawyer. He just when you're fighting the Department of Justice and the federal government,
Yeah.
it's tough, man. Because I mean, there's not, you know, I mean, there's a very thin line between, okay, a very thin line between the average citizen and the Taliban. It's the same entity that's prosecuting both. You understand?
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
So it's very strange.
Yeah, I could
And
imagine.
so they don't run it like they do like the basic stuff like you do like traffic court. That's totally different. Or DUI court. You know?
Yeah.
That's you got a jury, you got all this, you got it's just a different situation when you get to the federal government.
Yeah. So,
But anyways, that sucked.
yeah. So
So
now,
now I'm in go ahead.
now you're where you now you're in a halfway house, right? Does that mean that you're halfway between where you used to live and where I live? You're halfway in between, or what is a halfway house? What does a halfway house mean? What is a halfway house?
Well, they have many names for it. Halfway house, transitional center. It's supposed to be something to rehabilitate, you know? It's supposed to be rehabilitate. But man, the whole damn system, it doesn't have shit.
But what are you rehabilitating from? You weren't in there for drugs or alcohol?
I'm rehabilitating
From what?
coffee bunk over there.
Yeah, you're not rehabilitating from drugs or alcohol that I know of. You're not rehabilitating. No. What are you rehabilitating?
Everybody's different. Some people are that way, and it's just the way the courts, because the courts, they sit here and then they charge, you know, per the week, and then you have to pay it by order of the court.
Yep.
And these places, they're full of people, so they're making, you know, big bank there.
Yeah. Now, how is
And then
jail?
in the prisons, they're making big bank. Everywhere they're making money, hands over fist.
Yep. How is jail? I mean, people think it's brutal. I would not want to go to jail. I wouldn't want to spend one day in jail. But how is jail? Is it as brutal? Is it violent? Is it dangerous?
There's 3 levels. You got jail, county jail. Then you have like a city jail, and then you have like a state prison, and then you have a federal prison. Those are 3 different types. They're totally different things.
So where were you at? Which one were you at?
County jail is like the most terrible. But it's the easiest to get in and out of. But that's like for people that, I don't know, they get arrested and they put you in county to wait for your court dates. And inside there, they give you 1 meal a day and 1 Lambo pack, which is basically a piece of bread and peanut butter and a little bitty tiny packet, like mustard packet of jelly.
Now, is that where you
state
were?
prison is a little better. State prison's a little better, but it's still rough. You know, they got limited budget. Now you go to federal. Federal's a lot better because you get 3 hot meals, breakfast, and you get. Now, I mean, this is not stuff you want to go down to IHOP and eat. You know, it's definitely prison, but it's better. You know.
Yeah. Now, which one were
you
you
got
at?
commissary. Go ahead.
Which one were you? I'm sorry. I want to interrupt you because I want to figure out which one were you in. You were in federal, I'm assuming. Right?
I was in federal prison. Yeah,
Okay.
'cause mine was the nationwide crime.
So now you couldn't find any sexy security guard because you're a good-looking guy. You have some sex. They help you out of there. You escape, and you had sex with the woman. She's having your baby. Anything like that? No. Oh, come on now.
Yeah, here's what that gets you. That gets you put in with all the Cheetos and the sexual molesters because that's a sex charge.
Oh, so
you whistle at them, you do anything to them, they'll come arrest you, put you right in handcuffs, and then they give you a sex charge immediately. You get a sex charge, and that's a terrible situation because all the people that have sex charges are your child molesters. And I call it a Cheeto. That's basically a gay.
Yeah,
they call them Cheetos.
Yeah, but however, like I said, if some sexy security guard wanted you, and of course you're in there alone without a woman to see, and you're giving that woman what she wants, and she has to be working there. So then it's not it's not anything that will put you in Cheeto jail. It's something that you got her Cheetos. You got her Cheetos.
Yeah,
right?
that's right. That's gonna put you in the back room of the jail.
Yeah, you got some Cheetos there.
Fruit. Get it right.
And you got Cheetos, Fruit Loops, and everything you wanted there, right at the bottom of the vagina. Coming out of the vagina, you got Cheetos, right? So
that's right.
All right, let's skip the jail part because we talked enough about that. We bored the fuck out of our listeners. Tell us about that. Now you got a book. Were you writing the book in jail, by the way? Was the concept of the book in jail, right?
Yep.
So now you instead of reading the Bible, you're writing a book, right?
Yeah, because I'm like, I don't know, I'm just one of those people, because I'm an electrical engineer, so I'm creative. And so, like, I was sitting there, and I just started writing, and I just got more and more better at it.
Uh-huh.
And it's crazy because I was writing in my bunk, And as I was sitting there writing in my bunk, it became to be a problem in there because everything in there is like a conspiracy. You're in there with criminals. Everything's like it's somebody's doing something to get someone or take something from you.
Yep.
So I'm in there and I'm writing this book, and at the time, get this, brother, I went in there. I was about like 250 pounds plus.
Ooh, wow.
And so I'm a big fat ass and everything, and I started to work out and do stuff. So I'd go to medical a lot because I had diabetes and everything, and then high blood pressure, all the things that contribute to a big fat ass. And so when I go to medical, the guys would talk behind my back. They'd be like telling everybody around that I was going to medical to be debriefed because I was United States Marshals.
Huh.
So that became a problem. And so I got about 50 pages into the book, and I started letting people read it. Because the way I did this book is
Now, who's reading it?
It's like kind of go ahead. Let's don't jump around. You keep it organized.
I want to stop at appropriate parts here. So now, because it's important. You said that everything in there is a conspiracy. Everybody's worried about what everyone's doing. You said people were reading the book. Who was reading the book? Like fellow inmates or the security guards, or who was reading the book?
So here's how it works. You got blocks, and inside those blocks you have pods.
Uh-huh.
And in the pod, you have different types. You got single cell, and you got what's called chicken coop, where you got 14 men in a room.
Uh-huh.
It's like 7 bunk setup,
Right.
And I was in one of those, so you got like all 14 of those people, they're bunking with you. It's like you're all sharing a cell.
Uh-huh. Right.
But anyways, so as people started to read it, they started to realize it had nothing to do. I wasn't no big conspiracy. And so they like allowed me to write, without giving me a hard time.
How do they know the first 50 pages weren't legitimate and 50 to 100 was?
Because I read it to them. And I read it to them, and then I gave it to them. Oh, yeah. Well, guys they read it, and they really liked it. It's really good, Dan.
Uh-huh. Okay. And
really good, Dave.
Okay, so now, you how long did it take you to write this book? Is it a big, thick volume?
5 months.
5 months to write the book.
Every day for probably 8 hours.
Now, when you were in prison, were you alone, or were you sharing the room with someone else who could be a pain in the ass and bug you while you're writing the book? Were you alone?
All above. I told you, I was in a room with 14 people.
Oh, is that right? I thought, don't they put you in like, you see TV. You see what's in there?
Let me tell you something. Everything you see on TV about all that is all just a bunch of bullshit, man.
So it's not you weren't in there with Barney Fife, right? You weren't.
No.
Barney Fife was not in jail.
It wasn't Barney Fife. It wasn't Barney Fife. It was Otis. Get it right.
Oh, it was Otis, right?
Remember Drunk Otis?
Yeah, I remember Drunk Otis, right? Exactly. So now, okay, so you got the book. Now suddenly you've got like a book that's going to be published. You got like someone who's interested in giving you some cash to write the book, and kind of big money now, right? Like $500,000, right, for this.
Yeah, it could be.
Could be.
I've got to get it. I told you I have to get it dictated and put it into digital format, and that's what I'm working on. At that point in time, I sent it over to the owner, but the owner came out and met with me, and I sent him like a teaser with it, and he likes the way it's been written. Okay. Because I did. It's like a kind of a self-help book, but at the same time, it's got stories, man. It's just really good.
Now,
every author is going to say that.
Now, but now let me. So now, is this book written based upon your time in jail? Is it written about Chernobyl books? It is written about how you got thrown in jail and you were kind of duped into getting in. Well, give us like chapter 1, 2, 3, and 4. Give us the topics of chapter 1.
You got one. Here, I got.
Who's that guy? Who's that guy?
What up?
Fellow inmate. That guy looks. That guy looks. That guy looks
he's
like.
kind of like a bunkie.
He looks like he should not be in a halfway house. He should be in the full house. That guy looks like he's a full house guy. That is a full house guy if I ever saw one. So,
Right.
yeah.
No, he's actually native.
He's actually naked. Would you say?
Yeah. He's a native.
Native. I thought you said he's naked. Okay.
Native.
Native. Let's be clear here on the Dave Darin Show. So, all right. So you got the book. First four chapters? What are they about? Give us a kind of an outline here. Well,
let's start with the first name. It's a two-part book. And the first part is called "The Similarities Between Sexual Addiction, Drug Addiction, Alcoholism," and I call it the criminal rush. It's the rush that criminals get when they commit a crime. And it has to do, and I do it in the stories, but it's based around like how these people commit these crimes in these stories, and they do it knowingly that it's going to destroy their lives, probably the people around them, and everything, but they continue to do it. Why do bank robbers rob banks? Because they get a rush. It's called the criminal rush.
Yeah, I could believe that. Right.
And then why does a drug addict continue to do drugs? Because he gets a rush. It's the drug addict's rush.
Right.
Why does an alcoholic drink alcohol when he knows that he could get a DUI driving? Or, alcohol could be good and drugs could be good. There's a lot of drugs out there that people take moderately that work just fine.
Right.
There's a lot of people who drink alcohol.
Let's get to this. You lift out the sexual addiction guy. Now, for instance, if I'm not getting sex from my wife, I'm here whacking off in the bedroom to a magazine. So I'm addicted to sex. If I don't get it from my wife, I get it from porn. What's that?
Yeah, what I'm talking about when I get into sexual addiction is more or less like where people actually, they're so addicted that they go out to the streets. And then when I say the similarities between all these, because you could take each one of those and you could almost draw a line from one to the next, and it will it's correlated. Like your sexual addiction person is probably an alcoholic, and they're probably a drug addict.
Yeah, well,
see what I'm saying here? See where I'm going?
He's going in there
and they're probably a criminal too.
He's probably going in there. He's sexually addicted. He's going into the bar, getting the chick wasted, so he can have his sexual addiction with that chick, right? That's
you
it.
Got it, man. You
doesn't
got
matter.
it. See, hey, why did I write the book?
I could have written the book. That's right. And we don't at that point we don't even care what the girl looks like. We just consider it.
Right. Well, hey, man, there's some good stuff in there, man.
Yep.
Good stuff. There's some good sex scenes, man. Sit in prison, like you said, man. No women, so the only place you got to go is your mind. So I put that mind down on paper. So it got nice and steamy too in some of it.
Nice. So your imagination.
I didn't hold back. I did not hold back.
Right.
And it was kind of crazy because when I first wrote up some of the stuff, I was like, man, this could be too much. But I'm going to be honest with you, Dave. Because I remembered our interview, with Sabrina?
Was that the hooker?
No, she was not a hooker.
Oh, because I interviewed a hooker one time.
It was the girl that was talking about anal sex. It's the one that got you fired.
Yeah, the one that got me fired. I got fired from that radio station because we were talking about anal sex. And that guy, I don't know if you knew this. The guy that was airing my show supposedly was airing it in a mall where people are walking around. And he knew the content I did because the person that referred me to him knew that I did adult-oriented comedy. So I forgot, she wasn't a hooker, but she was talking about anal sex. And I think I asked her how much she charges for it or something like that. I asked her for a full menu of prices.
Remember, she was classy.
Well, everyone that has anal sex is classy, by the way. They're all classy.
Right.
Yeah, there's a degree of class there. When you give up the ass and you give up the hole that is inside the ass, you've got a certain amount of class there. I mean, that's
at some point in time,
Cary Grant style. It's Cary Grant style.
We got to take a U-turn here. Prison and anal sex is not a good topic together. That's like eating a hamburger and ice cream at the same time.
Yeah, that's right. I guess.
I don't know. I guess that might be good.
Yeah, me too. That's right. I do anal sex too. My wife and I are going to have it tonight that way. Right. I have to pay her some extra money. Got to buy her a Gucci watch for Christmas for it tonight. So so now the rest of the book is.
So all I got to say is don't answer the door.
Right. The rest of the book. Now you talked about the kind of the first chapters of it, the first genre of it. Where does it keep going? Where does it keep going? Because you got a big book here. You got people interested.
We get in there, and in there we have all kinds of stuff, man. We got the cartel, we got drugs, we got rape, we got I mean, I talk it. You know, I got in there. I've got where there's a scene where there's a little girl. Let me just give you this. Okay, there's a little girl that it's kind of how the book kind of kicks it. Is there's a little girl, two little girls down in Mexico playing in a General Motors plant that got closed down. And as they're playing hide and seek, they roll upon a cartel execution. And as they roll into this execution, one of the little girls is out hiding, and she starts screaming. So the other girl comes, and she hides behind this barrel. I'm just giving you a real short. It's got a lot more to it. But,
Yeah. Okay.
and they're executing these guys because they lost a fentanyl shipment that's coming across the border, and it lost millions of dollars for the cartel. So the little girl, they take her. She screams out, throw her in one of the Tahoes. And then the other little girl's right there, and they start to execute the men, you know? And as they're doing it, they're chopping the head. And I got it where the blade comes down, and it's crack, you know, and it hits the bone of the neck. Oof. And it doesn't quite get the head. So the guy's dying and squirting blood and bleeding. And these are the kind of words I use in this book. I'm telling you, this is good stuff, man.
Yeah.
And he has to take maybe 3 or 4 swipes at it, you know, get a good clean hack with the machete. Well, the last one he does, it happens to be the little girl's father. And then the head rolls at her. Ooh. And she starts to scream, and she has to race away and get on her bike, you know, because now the cartel's chasing her. Well, anyways, long story short is, further through the book, I go through things, and we're talking about things in prison. I talk about me. This is a legit situation. I went to the pen. This ain't Tommy Jones, Billy, whatever the hell you want to fucking call him, that writes books, sitting behind his little desk, trying to be Stephen King or whatever. This is straight up, man. I wrote this with golf pencils.
Wow.
I did this, but let's finish. So the little girl, what she does in this is the main overall story that keeps you into the book. But then I got a lot of mini stories in there too, with suicide. I've got a soccer mom that was taking Percocet, and she's got a husband that makes millions a year working for NASA, but yet she takes these Percocets, and then she has to start buying them from the street because of her addiction, and she does heroin. The boy that she buys it from, she's fucking, and then the boy that she's buying it from, his dad is a member of the cartel. So it's all intertwined, you know?
Yeah, cool. So it's some good ideas you had in your head while you're sitting in there, needing to have an outlet, right? I'm thinking about that. Do you
remember what we said at the beginning?
I don't remember. I got to show me. I'm old.
We got all the time in the world.
Right, that's right. Just to go back to your story about the guy there in the cartel was cutting his head off, and there's still a bone there, right? So we could say that guy actually had a boner at that point.
You did.
Right. He had a boner.
He had a neck boner.
He had a neck boner, right? Exactly right. So now,
I wonder what you could do with it. Hey, speaking of that, I got a funny one for you. Well, I mean, it's not really funny because I don't really want to make fun of people, but
no, we do.
It's kind of what the show is.
This show is all about making.
So
fun
there's this Latino guy in there, right? He's a Mexican-born Mexican-born person in here, and he's in there, and he has only his arm is only like here. It's like a nub here, right?
No, right.
And speaking of the neck boner, and anyways, you know what a pee-pee is?
No, I know I got to pee once in a while. Not
a
now.
pee-pee is where they take toilet paper rolls, and they take a glove, like your old surgical gloves.
Yeah.
And then they take that and they put it in there, and they wrap it and stuff, and then they put lotion in it. You can figure out the rest.
Oh yes, yeah. Now I got you. And in fact, I've got some toilet paper right here.
Good beauty picture, and
I'm gonna do it tonight.
There you go.
I might not get enough from my wife, so I've got it right here. I'm ready for it. My wife is not satisfying me. I got the toilet paper here.
Yep. If your wife's not doing it, break out the rubber glove. And you got a little bit of lotion.
Yep. Now I've got some.
You got to make sure you pack it in there real good so it gets the surroundings. You don't want it that big, so you want to get some like a wash rag and get it in there too.
Now will this work? I've got toilet paper and crazy glue. Is this working too? Will this be okay?
I don't know, man.
I guess don't use crazy glue.
Why don't you try?
Right? It'll be stuck in there.
That would be a nice sneaky, I guess.
That's right. I'd be stuck in there I'd have to go to the hospital with toilet paper on my dick, right? That'd be a vision, wouldn't it? I could write a book about that. You could write a chapter in your book. Dave
I tell you,
Darin
we'll
in the
get
hospital,
together, we'll
toilet paper stuck to his dick. That's a chapter in itself right there. So
yes,
look.
it is.
So now when's the
Okay,
book?
let's get back to the
let's get
to the cartel, then the whole thing. So the girl that I'm carrying the story with, her name's Maria, and little Maria, she ends up really angry because they killed her whole family. Because when she goes back to the home, her mother's there and her two brothers are at the table, beheaded, and their heads are on the platters on the plates in front of them.
Yeah.
So, now her whole family's dead. So now she's on the streets. She goes and sees her. Well, they call it her uncle, but it's not her uncle. It's a cartel member that got her dad involved with it. But he gets her involved because she tells him she wants to kill this man that killed her father.
Yeah, yeah.
So she gets in there and she does what she can, and she becomes this massive hitman.
Huh.
And then she goes after the cartel. And there's a spot in it at the end. I'm not going to give away the book here now. You know.
Right.
But there's a spot at the end where she's torturing her man. And when she's doing it, she pulls his eyeball out with a scalpel, heats it with a blowtorch, and then eats it.
Wow. Now, if it's a guy, he could put his dick in his eye and say, I'm fucking you cockeyed.
You can!
Fucking you cockeyed.
Man,
I stole that.
Forgot that part.
I stole that from Bob Saget. The cockeyed
I know.
thing.
Bless his soul.
He was a funny guy. I like Bob Saget. Right? Very funny guy.
I did too.
So when's this book coming out? When do you think it's going to be published?
I'm not sure yet. Like I said, it should be next year sometime. It's called The Criminal's Mind. You guys want to see the original manuscript written straight from prison?
Yeah, let's show that. I know you showed it to me.
All right, give me a minute. Let me grab it.
Okay, let's let him grab it. In the meantime, who do we have on here? We have Anita Clue, who's talking about this Richard Groper guy who used to be. You guys probably think he used to bug me, but he's a fucking nightmare. I didn't really care about him. Anyone can say anything they want about my show to my face or whatever the case is. Let's see. Long Don Silver, thanks for joining again. He says Dave seems really excited to picture his guest in a sexualized manner. Of course. This show is all about the nightmare that I bring to my audience. There's nothing that's excluded from my audience when I do a show like this. Rob, my buddy from Delaware, was on. He probably dropped by now. Here we got the guy back with the book. Show us that book.
Straight up.
There it is. Now, how is it bounded together there? You said it's bound in a particular way, which is interesting. Not with toilet paper. It would fall apart if it was toilet paper.
You see it?
Yep. How is that put together?
That's the part 2. That's who's the boss, and then here's part 1.
Okay, the Criminal Mind. Okay, there we go.
Okay, here.
There we go. Sex, drugs, alcohol, addictions, and criminal rush. There we go. Cool.
And then this one is about
who's the boss. Okay, now let me ask you a question. Inside the contents of it, obviously, is it typed? Because you're in jail, right? Is it typed or is it written?
Handwritten.
Handwritten. I was going to say you probably don't have a typewriter or a computer. You're handwriting the stuff.
And
right?
I had to keep the book moving around because, see, what it is it's these Mead notebooks.
Yep.
You get them you order them from the commissary. And so I started with one. That's why the ties are in it, because I started with one. And then I got to go 2 because I didn't know how I was going to do that. I just kept doing it. And then I didn't know I was going to get into like 10 Mead notebooks, 80 pages apiece, or more than that.
Right.
And I just kept putting them, and then I peeled the paper out of the other one and put it inside the other binder. You understand?
Yep.
So, what I did is I started, and then I just kept writing, and it's crazy, man. After I read these guys the story, like to get them like to where they weren't thinking on the feds or the United States Marshals going to debrief their stories, then they started being nice, and then because I had to write it with a golf pencil.
Yeah.
The little baby golf pencils you get when you
like at the library, like the little library pencils, right?
Library pencils, and on the golf cart.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, in the golf cart, right? Or maybe in what do they call that? Bowling alleys, right? They got little pencils.
Bowling alleys. There you go. They give those to you because they don't any longer. You might stick somebody in the neck with it.
Yeah, exactly right. So I'm curious. You're writing this with your hand. Yeah, your hand is valuable because you got to masturbate. So how do you?
That's absolutely correct.
How do you synchronize them? You got to have the hand available to masturbate at your writing. So did you learn how to write left-handed so you can masturbate right-handed and be able to?
No, I learned how to masturbate with the left hand.
Oh, okay.
I went left-handed with the masturbate, right-hand with the writing.
Oh, there you go. There we go. There we go. It's important to know.
Lefty-righty.
Important to know. Let's clap about that. All right. So we're going to look for the book. What's the title of the book? What is the title of it?
The Criminal's Mind.
The Criminal's Mind. Okay, we're going to look for that. We're going to look for that. Hopefully in a year. Hopefully it'll come back on the show when it's out there available, because I like to make sure our audience knows when it's available.
And this time I'll bring the regular copy, and hopefully I'm going to take us for a ride in my Ferrari.
Yeah, that's cool. So it's funny because I was not sure how this interview was going to go, because I forgot our first interview. I didn't have time to play it back. You're telling me you're so excited, you want to get on, you want to talk to me personally. And I said, no, I want you on the show to talk to people, not just me.
Right.
I'm irrelevant. We got to talk to the people. So, okay, so cool. We'll have you back on when the book's out. We'll tell them how to connect to the book. It's not out yet. But when it comes out, we'll tell them where to get it, how to get it, everything about it, and we'll get you back on and we'll talk about the book to get you back out there, okay?
Sounds good, man.
All right, man. Thanks for a lot for being on the show. I appreciate it.
All right, peace.
Peace out. Peace. No, my piece will be out later. It's not out now. So later on, my piece will be out.
Hey. You better keep that pinky hidden. Now that I gave you a jewel, you better keep that pinky hidden from your wife.
Right. Here it is. It's gone. All right, thanks, man.
Dave, you be good.
Okay, no, I won't be good, but I'll see you later on. Cheers.
All right, later.
Later on, man. Bye-bye. Okay, back to the Dave Darin Show. Let me put me back. That's the picture of me when I used to do a show to... Everyone thought I was copying Stern. So thanks a lot for being on the show, guys. That's all I've got for tonight. We'll be back on Friday night where we are going to talk about extraterrestrials, paranormal stuff, and we're going to have a good time with that. So until Friday, it's 7 o'clock Arizona time, 9 o'clock Eastern time. We will see you then, and I am out. So let me figure out if I can press the right button to say goodbye, because I'm still relearning my software. So let me find it. There's my closer on the Dave Darin Show. Cheers, guys. Talk to you on Friday.
Sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.